When people find out I'm a food writer, they immediately want to know what my first food memory is. It's like the pissing contest of the culinary world. Whose first gastronomical imprint is the best? I've read enough culinary memoirs to know that's where the seeds of someone's entire relationship with food supposedly begin. There is nary a cooking competition where the chefs are not required to create an entire menu around that memory. These recollections are always so lyrical. The sizzle of sofrito, the brine of an oyster, the scent of cookies fresh from the oven. Memory distilled into flavor and scent. The taste and feeling become locked into the electrical wiring of our brains, more so than first kisses. First kisses can be absolute disasters, too clammy, or taste of Cheez-Its, affronts to the senses. But the first food memories, my God, ask anyone in the food world. The answer is always poetry. I've concluded that someone must be lying. The first thing you remember eating is soufflé. Not your own coagulated snot. Not a dusty jelly bean you found on the floor. Not your older brother's farts. Was every chef and food writer in the world born a fully formed adult with a standing reservation at Balthazar? As a kid, I distinctly remember drinking water from a vase that had recently been relieved of flowers. I remember desperately licking Fun Dip off a plastic tablecloth, the granules spilled from the packet, mixed with grains of salt and pepper that were scattered on the table from an earlier meal. I did not care. I know that I ate the paper wrappers that clung to the outside of peanut butter cups with some sort of hazy understanding that it was dark chocolate around milk. The logic behind this confounds me because it requires the absence and presence of intellect all at once. If you want poetry, I can lie to you. I can tell you about my mother diligently stuffing cannelloni and making bechamel from scratch back when that was the sort of thing she did. I can tell you about all the rustic Southern Italian dishes my grandmother tried to get me to eat, meals that I often rejected handily. If you want to know my actual first food memory, it's this. The setting is the early 1980s. A time that looks more like the 1970s, really. There are bell-bottoms and big hair, though it could be that my family is just stuck behind the fashion. The carpet is a burnished red, the upholstery of the couch quilted and iridescent gold in the rare Seattle sunlight. It feels like velvet, and when I run my chubby hand along it one way, it is smooth and shiny. The other way, it bristles up like a cowlick. Picture me, a toddler. I have a baby mullet, the hair you see on professional European soccer players, a receding hairline, and a sort of wispy tail hanging off the back of my enormous head. It is easy to envision me working through the last few seasons on a premier team, nursing a knee injury, wondering if my supermodel ex-wife still loves me. I am dressed without fail either like a rodeo clown or in the long underwear of a cartoon prospector, snap buttons that go up the inside of one leg and down the other. They are cold and I will squirm as my mother attempts to button me into them, and once she does, I am free to roam the house like a cat, which is more or less how I am regarded. Make sure she doesn't get outside. Don't let her climb on the furniture. Did someone feed her?